Fishing is fun, but hooking is the only way. We're gonna show you how to catch some fish today.
So hey guys, this is a report for September 7th. But first I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in the fishing industry for 30 years. And I get a lot of information from guides, friends, customers, and most of all me. I'm on the water 3 to 4 times a week, so I'm always out there doing something, really current. So first of all, I want to tell you, I put 2 videos out a week. Monday I do a teaching video, and Wednesday I do my report. So if you like the videos, hit the like. It'll give me a general idea, if I'm doing, what you guys are wanting. Hit the subscribe because it'll help my channel out a lot. So let's get on with this report. September 1st was the opening day of dove season. So if you look back at Monday, I did a video on it. Showed you how to set up, how to place where you want to put your blind. And I shot a limit, and Natalie, the gal who works for me, she went to Fresno and shot a limit. So there's a lot of doves in the area. It's not red hot, but it's doable where you could go out and get a limit. So the hottest thing going on in our area right now is, the salt water is the Albacore up at Fort Bragg. Had one of the guys, Adrian, that works for me, he went up there. They had like 19. John and Guy were up there. They had a boatload. And Laura Lee, this friend of mine, her and this other guy went up there, put 6 lines out, 6 on at once, and landed all 6. And all the albacore are running in that good grade, in that 15 to 25 pound class with a 30 pounder here and there. And most of the fish are right around 10 to 30 miles offshore. So that's considered really close. Around here, the albacore is a little bit slower because that warm water. If you guys want to go after albacore, watch the currents. You'll see it, it changes daily. It'll move in 10 miles, it'll move out 10 miles. So just look and see where the temperature break is and then make your schedule going out. So locally around here, the salmon fishing out in the ocean is kind of slowed up a little bit, but they're still catching a lot. Most of the guys are rolling anchovies, but they're still catching them, but you got to put your time in. It's not like before, like a couple months ago, where you could go out there and, in an hour you got your 6 guys on a boat, you have your limits. You have to work for them. But the thing about it is they're all big. So most of the fish being out there caught now are in that 15 to 30 pound class. And there's even some that have been caught over 40. But you have to put your time in. The thing about it is trying to figure out where that bulk of all those fish that were out there a month, 2 months ago, where are they go? There's no signs of them in the Sacramento River or up Feather River or up in the Sac. They're somewhere in between. And talking to a lot of the guys that have been fishing all their lives in the Bay Area, they seem to think that they're just holding around in the area and just waiting, because some of the fish they're catching are already starting to turn. So they're getting a little hook nose to them and they're turning a little bit reddish. Usually they'll come upstream before that happens to them. So there's a lot of fish in the system. As you know, you might be reading or watching TV and seeing that, there's a red tide in the bay. So that when the red tide moves in there like that, it takes a lot of oxygen out of the water. They've been finding some dead fish floating around, and it's a cause because of the red tide. So, who knows what those salmon are doing. They might be sitting right outside the gate and just waiting, and then they'll make their move. So right now, inside the bay, otherwise, the halibut fishing kind of slowed down too. And I think most of it has to do with this red tide that's in the area. So, but some of those fishing, outside the gate on the north bar, they're picking up a few halibut, but it's definitely slowed down a little. So then we're going to come in a little further. And the striper action around Carquinez to Sherman Lake has been really good. A lot of the trollers pulling Yozuri deep divers in 15 feet of water have been scoring with catching 20 to 30 fish on a trip. I've been doing a lot of topwater fishing up north. There's still some fish in the area. I had caught them up to like 12 pounds last week. If you watch my video, some of the footage on there has some of the fish that we caught that day. But I've been doing really good on stripers in the morning, especially on topwater, and then I'm back to the bass fishing.
Dustin, there's another one. Oh my God, it's a big one. Oh, he got one. Dustin! Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Water, nothing like it. We got a double here on this corner. Bass fishing in the Delta is really good. Dave and Rob were up in north up by Wimpy's, and they scored big. They had some nice fish, probably a 15 to 18 pound limit. I've been doing it pretty consistently around Liberty, getting that 15 to 18. I'd say most of my fish are caught on punch rigs. And then in the morning, I've been scoring really good on top water. So I usually, it depends on the tide, is what I usually go to pick up. You know, and I'm doing a top water video here pretty soon, and you'll learn a lot about that on the video. Looking that way. Nice one. Big boy. Okay. You just take your time. Oh, you were looking the other way.
Stop jumping out of the water. Up water. Got him on the baby duck.
Little baby duck.
My favorite. What you got, Alan?
Top water, the only way to do it.
114 degrees. All three of us got our limits. Hey, Dave?
That's right. It's a beautiful day.
And what you catch them on?
All punching.
You punching?
And the Cinco Master.
So then we're going to come in where the lakes for bass are real good. Folsom's been good. A friend of mine's been going up there. He's been catching a lot of fish. And he said they're been averaging around 1.5 pounds to 3 pounds. And then depths anywhere from 5 to 15 feet of water. Berryessa. As you know, Don, he's up there all the time. They've been catching a lot of fish. No spoon bite though. They got off the spoon because of this weather. You know, like it's 112 degrees right now. It's just cooking out here. But he's been catching all the fish drop shotting in 25 feet of water. So a lot of the local lakes have been really decent, but I think you have to fish deeper and go to the drop shot rigs. Kokanee fishing, they're still catching them at Stampede, but the fish are really starting to turn now. So the males, especially the males, they're really hooked and they're red and they got no scales. So the females are still in excellent shape, but even the males that are hooked, the meat is still red. So they're very, decent fish that you could smoke them and have a good meal out of them. Buller's Bar is still red hot. The fish are starting to turn there. The fish are going to start turning everywhere now because we're getting late in the season. Most of the fish that we're catching have been in that 70 to 95 feet of water. If you came up higher, say 35 to 55, you'll catch the next 2 years fish. They're a little bit smaller, but they won't be turned. They'll be nice and chrome. So you could always go do that. You could go up in the Sierras, check the listings of lakes because I heard Ice House is closed, but you could hit Prosser. There's a lot of lakes up there that you could go up there and get out of the heat and catch trout. Locally around here in our river system, the salmon is nada. Guys are still going out, but there's no fish in the river. The water temperature, last week I was down here and the water temperature was 70, 71. Today it was 77, 78. So the water's climbing up and it's just making it worse for those salmon. So if we don't get a cooling trend pretty soon, I don't expect to see any of the salmon showing up. But if you're a diehard and you want to go out, go to the confluence. Go to the mouth of the American, look at the release flows at the Feather. If they start dumping a little water, then you can head up there. But right now, I don't think they're letting anything out. And Folsom, they're still dumping a little. So my tackle tip for this week. You guys know the weather is hot. It's 114 degrees out here. Perfect for frogging. So I did a video. It's coming out this next Monday, and it's on frogging. And I showed you quite a few tricks in there, but I'm going to tell you the one that works for me, like this time of the year when it gets really hot like this, and those fish will move under those mats because it's about 6 degrees cooler. What I do is take a frog, flip it around, and I take little split shot, and you want to use the small ones, like little bitty ones, like the size of a BB, and put maybe 6 to 10 of them inside the frog. So what happens when you throw it out over those mossy mats, it lays a trench, and when the fish come up and hit it, it doesn't go flying in the air because of that little bit of weight will give them about 2 seconds, and they'll get your bait 10 out of 10 times if you throw it right. So if you guys watching the video, on the bottom you're gonna see where you can leave a comment. If you leave a comment, you can ask me anything on old videos or whatever, and I'll get back to you within like 3 days. So I hope you like this video, and I'll see you guys next week.
Fishing is fun, but hooking is the only way. We're gonna show you how to catch some fish today.